Good evening and welcome to XPCrunch Live with Ricardo, the Panda, and Talthazard. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing well. How's it going, everybody? Hope you're doing good out there.
Be better if I
Enjoy.
wasn't dealing with this cough, but you know what? We ride.
We do ride, and the show must go on. I'm glad to still have you here today. I know I got over a cold myself not too long ago, and it lingered for way longer than it was welcome. Uh, so
Yeah.
speedy recovery, my friend.
Yeah, I'm hoping,
And with
hoping that
regards
doesn't
to
happen.
Yeah.
you guys were, I heard like there was some natural disasters happening with regards to hurricanes
Oh yeah.
and tornadoes. Everything okay? You guys
The
Um,
sorted?
world in the U.S. is crazy right now. We're having hurricanes in California, hurricanes in Florida. We got tornadoes all through all through the middle of the U.S. right now. Uh, everybody, I think
Hectic, man.
everybody on my end is all good though.
yeah, I've had
Yeah.
no issues, thankfully. Besides, we've had like triple digit weather here for the past like couple months, and it's still going. So, um, besides it being very hot all the time, everyone's as safe and sound as that'll let us be.
No, that's hectic. No, we don't have any extreme weather conditions. I think the only thing we get is like earthquakes, but nothing extreme like what some people have been experiencing there in with regards to tornadoes and hurricanes. But we are busy with XP Crunch, and here we speak about games and anything with regards to gaming, or whether it's board games or RPGs or role playing, any type of games that we're going to speak about. So I am going to kick it off with looking at a game that's recently popped up on our screens, and it is a game called Palia, and it is free to play, and you can actually go and check it out. If you go to palia.com, you can actually go and download it, and in a few, I think it's the next holiday, that they're actually going to release it on the Nintendo Switch. So I'm going to drop us a little trailer, and then we can talk about it, and then I'll give some details on what the game's all about.
Ooh. Him.
Okay, so that was basically like the pre-alpha release. Yes, the game is already, you can play it and download it at the website polia.com. Now, basically, it's a simulation game, very similar to Disney Dreamlight Valley. I don't know if you've played that before,
Mhm.
but where you're able to customize your character, and each each time when you meet a new NPC or character inside the game, They either train you to learn how to catch fish or do foraging, like chop trees and explore the wilderness, collect resources. They even have hunting, where they've got like weird and wonderful creatures, like you saw on the trailer, and mining for minerals. We have to collect precious like minerals and ore to do various things where you have to like set up your own camp first, and then you expand your house, and you also have I think it's insects that you can catch, and you do cooking and furniture making, gardening. It's like a huge adventure with cute little characters. So basically, the storyline is almost where these random people pop up into this new world, Palia, and it's some of the creatures would then refer to the humans, saying like, "Oh, there's another human that, that basically arrived." So what they also do is that you can do multiplayer, where you can also invite someone to your world, and you can see like random characters or people that are also playing the game walk around. So it does give you a bit of a feel of Disney Dreamlight Valley, but a little bit more interactive. Um, I don't know. Have you guys have you seen people play this before, or trailers, or any other with regards to this game, or is it very new?
It's a very new for me. No, it's kind of weird. To me, it sounds really interesting because the fact that it
Okay.
takes like the collecting the materials, the farming, everything kind of from like Minecraft esque kind of gameplay, and then putting it
Yeah.
into a style of game in which I can build up a real looking house, almost almost similar to how I build a house in Sims, and
Yeah.
putting them together into like a mini, what looks like to be a mini survival game. Something that
Yeah.
I would be personally interested in, actually. Um, so I think that's really cool. It's definitely a new style that I've never seen from a game before, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think
So it's
so. I was just gonna say something that we didn't pretty mention, but a big aspect of it is the fact that it's an MMO, right? And right, I wonder what other game has been popular lately that involves cute characters, bug catching, and making of like a place to live. Cozy games, as they're titled, have been we've covered them on this show and shows like it more than once before, right? Because they're a trend that really like caught ablaze during COVID, and a lot of people resonated with the idea of having control in these spaces, and they're like a safe place for a lot of people. But I'm curious, right, to really see it pushed in an MMO aspect, to where you get to go out and you get to do this collectively with friends, and it's more than just you come over to my island or my Dreamlight Valley, and you look around all the stuff I've done. Now we can go and do things together, mayhaps. I had heard about this game the other day, actually, naturally through word of mouth at work. Someone was like, "Hey, have you heard of this?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." He's like, "Yeah, it works like this, and this is what it looks like." And I was like, "Wow, that's not personally a game for me, but I have people that I know would be interested." And I talked to them, and they were very excited. So it's the marketing's working, I guess. Right? People are hearing about it, and I'm glad they're finding the ability to be able to participate in this like pastime with their friends.
Yeah, especially like a community simulation game, that does all these elements, or like you say, the farming and the social interaction. There's something specific that I wanted to mention with this. It's the company that Singularity 6. It's a game studio founded by former Riot Game employees. So the studio is known for its focus on creating unique online multiplayer experiences. So that's quite cool. Knowing, that's the people working on this are also. I think you can see some of the elements of Riot, if I can be that brave, that you can actually see some of it in the game itself just by looking at some of the gameplay that featured in that trailer. So it's actually quite cool. Definitely a game that I've been playing. Well, I haven't spent too much time on it, but it's definitely something that's um, you can actually like carry on for hours and totally get lost in it, because the little, it's like the little side quests that you have in between, and it's like having your main quest, and then you kind of get distracted with the side quests in between, and trying to build up your resources. Then before you know it, then it's like 4 hours gone or 6 hours gone, and it's like, whoa, I need to do some work or something. It kind of happens with all these MMO games. But yeah, so if you're keen on looking for something to keep you busy, or just having a bit of a relaxing environment with regards to gaming, Palia is definitely your answer then. Unless you enjoy shooting monsters and
and other things. I mean, I don't know. There was some stuff. Honestly, the like you said, I can kind of see some of the stylistic like approaches when it comes to like design and like the characters from like that could echo some things that Riot has done in the past. Right? It's interesting to note that it's a group of ex-Riot devs, and I hope that means that they won't have the monetization that most Riot games do, which I'm personally not a fan of, but I know a lot of people participate in. So yeah, hopefully the game's what a lot of people are looking for, right? It's always nice when something comes out and is able to let you do what you want to do, uh, plus have the bonus of doing it with friends. So I'm sure you're looking forward to, like you said, you haven't played too much of it yet, but I'm sure you're looking forward to getting some more hands and time on it.
It's funny that you should mention the monetization. They actually sent like a little a response from the person's name is Wizard Crab. He said that they actually already adapting the premium store. So I think some of the
Oh boy,
monetization-
it starts.
Oh, good old Riot.
I've talked about this probably once or twice before, right? It's an early access game, I'm assuming, right? It's not fully launched yet. And I'm a big person in terms of my distaste for games that are not finished and are still in production to have stores where you can spend even more money.
I agree with
like
that.
like if you have a premium currency enabled during your early access period, not a good look, IMO, because you even launching with like being a full price game and then you have an extra like cosmetic store on top of that, right? It's like, you have to be very careful. The base game better be very, very, very good. And like in respect to that, I think of like Street Fighter 6, where they give you like tons and tons of stuff, and you can buy like some extra things for like your character that you don't really ever need. But there's a full game. There's full 2 modes, right? There's an entire single player campaign and multiplayer, which is fantastic, and a bunch of other things. So like I like that game enough to where I was like, okay, it's a full price game, but you have a cosmetic store. I get it. I'm personally interested in it. But for example, I'm playing some other games that are early access, and they had a full store set up, and you could spend even more money, right? They have a version of the game that goes up to $150, and you can still buy more stuff in the game through cosmetics. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. It's a lot of money you're charging, and the game's not done yet. I like it, and I have faith, but you have to be careful.
Yeah, I'm big on skins and adding to characters and things like. But as soon as it becomes like a play to win type of thing, and it's like it's
that's the thing too, right? Like you're not buying power, but I think it's inherently slightly predatory, right? To where like you're offering a product that isn't even complete, yet you're letting people invest a lot of money in it, and even if the game gets bad, right? Like I played. Back to reference, right? I played League of Legends for quite a few years. And one of the biggest reasons that I continued to play League of Legends and I have my only one account and all this other stuff is because I've spent as much money as I have on that game. And there's a bunch of skins on my account, and it's like, I have a lot of skins on my account, might as well use them, might as well play with them, right? And that's not the only game that I've done it, right? Like I broke free from Hearthstone, even though I'd spent a lot of money on that. Magic the Gathering Arena, right? These card games, I've spent quite a bit of money, and I have like a collection built up. But I kept going back because like I have invested, right? Like I have the sunk cost, so like I got to keep going, and it's really hard to get out of that. And not a lot of people can, right? A lot of people will still be playing the same thing because that's just all they know. They're rooted in place. So I feel like having an early store, it also like asks me, like I know they're different teams, right? You have the people making the store are different from the people making the game and all this other stuff. And I understand that the company has to please shareholders and those other stuff and all those things that are out of the control of like the actual designers. But at the end of the day, right, like it's funny how you have a fully working and robust cosmetic system and like secondhand shop for monetization, yet the base game has like stability issues and missing content and a bunch of bugs. It's like, I get it, that's way harder to do, but it doesn't look great, right? Even if it's not your fault. Even if it's not your fault, it doesn't look great. So
It's still cute. I like it though.
no, it is really nice. I saw that tall robot guy, and I was like, oh yeah, that guy's cool.
Yeah.
So
Speaking about monetization, I think that's one of the biggest traps. Like I know with mobile games, where at one stage I played this mobile lords or something. Oh, with microtransactions, it's just you can just tap with your finger, whatever, it reads your fingerprint, and then it's like, oops, there we go. and it's
now I have
I
4
think
dingleberries that I can use to purchase 17 quartzes, and those quartzes I can spend individually to level up my heroes, and not my hero's might, my hero's vitality. Because for might, I need red gems, which I can only get if I do this right. Like monetization has gotten to the point where they're very good at letting you forget that what you're spending is dollars, right?
Yeah.
You view it everything in coins or premium currencies, and you forget that those have a literal translation to dollars and cents and hours.
And they have specials every now and then. You can like every
3
Tuesday
times the value, and then you do the math, and you're like, this is worse than the average.
Here's a whole package, and it's just adds up to the same amount of money anyway.
It's like they do like I don't know how often it is, but I wouldn't be surprised how true it is. The fact of some stores are like, we're on sale, and they put like the sale on everything, and you do the math, you're like, this is the exact same price. Like if this is the sale, it was way overpriced before. Or like Hot Topic has the endless buy one get one free sale that they have. That's just how it is. That's just their business model. Right.
Yeah.
At what point is it stopping? After how many years is it not a sale anymore?
No, it's not.
It's
not a sale anymore.
It's never been a sale.
It's never a sale to start.
Yeah. So,
and the scary thing is like there's no like really a decent way to actually go and check to have like a statement where you can go and see, okay, oh, this is what I spent it on or whatever, to actually see how much you spend monthly on these free games.
You have to be cognizant because like I get it, right? Like I have a full-time job, and I have the luxury of being able to spend my money on cardboard and like digital skins, whether they're monsters or anime girls, whatever I feel like being that day, right? Like I have that luxury. So it's hard to look at that and go, okay, well, this was $5 here. This was $15 here. This was this and this was that, right? And you look at it and you think, okay, well, $10 a month, whatever, man. But after you've been playing for a year, that's $120, right? And that's if you only buy that. So like it adds up, and it's hard to, in retrospect, look and be like, wow, I've spent like hundreds of dollars on this game. So you got to make sure you're enjoying it. As long as you enjoy it, right? I'm not going to yuck your yum. But please don't spend money on it if you're not having a good time.
Be smart, but make sure you smile.
Yeah, like if you have the luxury, all to you, bro. I told myself I'm buying name brand cookies from now on. Like I'm with you. I'm with you.
I feel that.
So just again,
keeping in mind, like to ask our audience if to stay connected with us, and maybe if you want to pop us questions, we've got this new awesome network that you can join, and while it lasts, you can join for free at XPCrunch.network. And if you have
3 times value,
3 times value, bro.
You can chat to us if you want us to maybe chat about a specific game, or maybe if you have a question, just if you're unsure if you should get a game specifically on PlayStation or Xbox or on PC, we have enough people on staff that can help and assist and guide you to your choice.
Yeah, like I was going to say,
I'm the FPS guy. All right.
Yeah, that's the FPS guy.
Don't ask me any other questions.
Right here, Apex Legends. This guy's about. I gotta make sure I flip my hand. Keep pointing at tell. This guy's not the FPS guy. This guy's the FPS guy.
I'm the FPS guy.
I actually feel so bad. I actually feel so bad because every time I drop the bomb on Panda, it's like, what do you think about this cute game?
It looks
I just want to see monsters.
Hey, I mean, like I said, I can keep myself entertained for hours on end
with something. Yeah, that is a virtue. They're very virtuous. But I was gonna say, right, like one of the best things you can do is just be informed when it comes to spending money on things. Have some nerd on the internet tell you how much you're actually spending. I have tons of those. I watch some of my favorite games. I watch people that break down things and dollar value so I can spend it wisely. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to leave we can talk a comment or during the stream we can talk about it, or you can join the network and you can leave us a message. It's like, hey, this is how much I play and this is what this game looks like. What am I doing here? What would be the most efficient thing for me to go about it? It's almost like you're taking all the pieces of a machine, right? And you got to see, is this piece giving me enough power? Is the power supply, or like if you're talking about a computer or like a generator, right? Am I generating enough energy to power this or that? Much like you're building a giant mech robot, which, funny enough, is what I'm here to talk about today. I want to talk about mechs. I want to talk about people in big old robots because I've seen a lot of stuff about it recently. I finished watching my first ever full watch through of Evangelion. I just have the movies left, and I'm going to watch it. A very interesting series. I would say I recommend it, but I'm not sure because it's like I liked it. It's very appealing to me. It's gorgeous. I think it holds up great in terms of visually aesthetics and stuff like that. The themes are very strong. It's slow though. I know not everybody's like, especially this day and age, people just want gas. And sometimes the show takes its time to just take a look at a life of a character, right? And it'll be very slow paced and methodical. And that's not what everybody's up to. Something that does have a lot of gas, though, is what the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to mechs, and that is armored. Hold on, I gotta prepare myself. Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, right? Like you can't say that name. You can't say that name without like putting on the voice, right? And I've been having a blast. It's a game like I haven't had too much time to get my hands into, but I'm looking forward to. Kind of like telling Pally, like I've played about 10 hours. And it's been out for a little while. Came out on the 24th of last month. Actually, not that long at all. Now to think about it, that was not
You're
very
thinking
long
about
at all.
it's been like a week.
Yeah, it's been like a week. But I know there's people that have like finished it on New Game Plus and all this other stuff, and like not like the game's short, but people are zooming through. I feel like I'm falling behind. It's only been a week though. What am I going on about?
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to playing some more of this game, and mech games are just so cool. It's not a genre that I've had a chance to really dive into, right? And it's not just a genre of video games too, but you know, you've got, like I said, the animes, you've got your Gundams, you got your Eevee, you got your Eva, you've got tons and tons of Power Rangers, right? You big mechs are universal. I think it's something that people can fall in love with, whether it's Transformers or Armored Core. There's something cool about big robots, and I've been having a lot of fun with Armored Core, especially because it's from Software. I'm a very big fan of them and what they do. Played all the Dark Souls, right? I'm working through Sekiro. I've done all the stuff. Actually, I haven't played the Demon Souls remake. I haven't played Demon Souls. That's like the one feather that I haven't gotten to yet, but soon. And I've been having a blast with this game. It's like fast, attentive, but the really cool part is the amount of customization available. You can do a lot of stuff. And by what I mean a lot of stuff, just take a second, look up Armored Core 6 builds, and you will see like genuine recreations of the mechs from Evangelions all the way to Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants. Or there's a Joey Wheeler mech. Or there's the Among Us Sus mech. And there's like people are just going they're going all the way. They're like they're knocking the ball completely out of the park because they just get to customize it in a bunch of different ways, besides colors, besides wear and tear, besides the fact that they brought, someone describes it as the Call of Duty emblem maker system, where you can just take like every little thing and just customize the emblem to whatever you like. That's in the game, and you get to put that all over your mech. So people have just been incredibly creative and been doing a lot of fun. And that's just customization alone. And that's not even getting into customizing the parts, because you have separate arms, legs, torsos, heads, weapons. You can have shoulder weapons, or you can have them be primary weapons you can swap between as you're flying through. And there's like laser weapons, plasma weapons, kinetic weapons, explosives. Like there's tons and tons of content this game provides. And it's all based around like missions that you do. You get to replay, and you have to tool your mech for specific encounters. And the reason I bring that up specifically is because there's been a lot of talk about this game. Right now, it's sitting at very positive on Steam, almost 30,000 reviews, 26,000 reviews, very positive. I looked and I did a bit of research. It's got about 4,000 negative reviews. Majority of those reviews are speaking that it's a good game, but they're people who have played the Armored Core series previously and are disappointed because this isn't the Armored Core they knew and they loved. And I understand that, right? And that's a shame. It sucks when something comes out and you're like, oh, I love this series. It hasn't been around for like 13 years or whatever. And then you play and you're like, this is not the game that I knew. This is not the series that I fell in love with. And so we're saying, right, it's Armored Core only in name, and it's gotten very like Souls-like from the success. Like the company has had a lot of success with the certain type of game that they produce, and they just kind of seemingly put the Armored Core skin over it. I haven't played any of their Armored Cores, and I really enjoyed this one. So I don't share that complaint, and it looks like that's a minority. Like it sucks. It really is a shame, and I hope that something comes out for those Armored Core fans that were really hoping to find that spark that they saw once before. But besides that, the game has also been getting a lot of heat for, and typical FromSoft fashion, being really mean and too difficult. And there's a lot of people complaining about the boss fights, saying the game just ends at this point. There is no way I can beat this. Who designed this? This makes no sense, yada, yada, yada. Because the game is going to try to teach you lessons the hard way. And if you're not listening, you are going to be having a hard time. And because of that, I reached out to one of my friends who's been playing his New Game Plus, and I asked him to do a special showcase for us of the first act's boss, Chapter 1's boss, very early in the game, that has been a wall for a lot of people. And so I have a short 2-minute video here that I will pull up, and we can watch them play through this boss, and hopefully everything here works as intended. I'm trying to make sure I find the right... Nope, that's not what I'm looking for.
If it doesn't work as intended, are we coming out with a digital market?
Oh, boy. All right, here we go. I think I'll just have to share the entire screen. And hopefully... Oh, wait, hold on. Whoop, there we go. Now it should be good.
Okay, cool.
And then we can... check this out. Here we go. This is Baltius, the Act 1 boss very early on, but like I said, a wall for a lot of people. Let's see how my buddy handles it. And so, as you can kind of tell right away here, this boss is going to throw a lot at you. And I also want to make a note here. My buddy, the build that they're using, they said was inspired by Sephiroth. They saw this like set of like Gatling turrets that they wanted to put on their back. And so this is a Sephiroth inspired. I thought it was pretty funny. But it is just based around speed and maneuverability and this melee weapon that he keeps using here that he has checked against kind of this boss. A big thing about this boss and why a lot of people are having trouble is that massive shield that he generates every so often. There's like a few weapons that you can use to overcome it, but if you're not paying attention to like the tools provided to you and how you're supposed to maneuver around this boss, it can get very dangerous, very fast. But yeah, I'll just let the rest of the fight play out and we can watch it.
Gee whiz, yeah.
That there's my favorite part. That was so not planned, but the cool guy doesn't look at the explosion, back turned to the explosion as it ends. It's some
doesn't
of the
even care.
It doesn't even care.
Doesn't even care.
Doesn't even care. Like that was such a like sick moment for me. And I told him, and I was like, he's like, yeah, I wasn't even planning that. He was so happy when it turned out like that because he was now prepared. But that was a 2-minute long fight. I think it took me quite a bit longer than that, right? He's been playing the game, he's been doing a lot. And that's just to show that with enough time, right? Like you saw this point where there's tons of rockets coming at him, but with the experience and the time and the build, Um, it didn't look too difficult, right? And he's like, when I asked him, I was like, "Hey, can you record this fight for us?" He's like, "What do you want? Do you want me to make a video that shows how easy this boss is supposed to be to like make, you know?" And I'm like, "No, I just want it to look cool." I think it delivered. Um, and of course, a completely different experience once you get behind the mech yourself and you're trying to like pilot all these things, because we might have not noticed, right? But there's tons of like signals that's showing, hey, you're being targeted. Hey, there's a missile. Hey, you have to dodge. Those other stuff, right? That's like in the back of his head as he's playing through. And I thought it was really cool. It was really fun. And hopefully that's maybe something of interest to people. I recommend you give us a little more gameplay. You can check it out. But maybe mechs aren't always just about being this like serious, brooding experience. Sometimes maybe mechs are just supposed to be a little more fun. And so I got turned onto this game that's coming out soon called Custom Mech Wars by a buddy of mine who wants to check it out with us because he's a big fan of mechs. And when we're ready, we can pull it up. And you can let me know if maybe this version of a mech game is more your style. I'm just gonna let this one play out, and we'll check out how it goes.
That's hilarious. Yes.
So this game
Intro.
looks really fun. My one concern is that I am nowhere near skilled enough to make a robot that looks cool. And if you pull the video back up again, it doesn't look like this poor lad here that we're about to see in a second. I feel like this is what my robots would end up looking like more
You're
often
just
than
gonna
not.
get murked right off the beginning there, Rip.
I feel like I'm not gonna have the skill to make something that's me. Because there's like obviously like a ton of creative potential when it comes here to being able to edit and customize your builds. And right, like you guys saw, there's a moment if I pull back the trailer a bit,
Sorry.
it's no worries, right? There's here where you see there's tons of articulation points besides like just getting to the colors and those other things. So this here intimidates me. I also didn't notice this was a car in the middle. That's really funny. I didn't realize there was just a car.
No, I didn't see that the first time.
I
around
didn't see that either. There's just a car in there.
I thought it was just another piece of metal.
Yeah, this
Not
guy
even
is
lying.
not missing his commute. But so I'm hoping that it's really fun and that we get to do a lot of cool things with it. And that it's a good time.
Or the bikini legs, like the previous one.
Yes,
also.
yeah. The let's see, where is it? Yes, the bare-legged tank. Observe its long, graceful legs sprinting across the terrain. Yep. Seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope that that game comes out. We can enjoy it, and we'll see some more cool robots because there's a lot of potential with something like this, right? Creativity, unlimited, essentially. And the birds in the back have told me that I should have asked if you guys were hearing it earlier. I wanted to. I have no idea. Was the audio not coming across? We were just sitting in silence.
It
there's
was
a point,
definitely awkward silence. But
so sick. I'm hearing it, right? So I'm like, cool, the music's
I
here.
honestly just
And then like,
I didn't want to interrupt the trailer.
Just let me know, man. They just got to push the button. I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, this is great. I'm listening to this guy. He's like, his voice is like so strong. It's coming across, and we're just like, he's just sitting here, just looking at me, smiling. And I'm like, oh, great, cool.
This one's going on the TikTok for sure.
Oh my gosh, dude, man! I mean,
clip right here is going on a TikTok for sure.
I got to enjoy the trailers.
Clip this, please, and
I got to enjoy the trailers, man. Like.
This is going on the TikTok for sure.
You know, this is why I completely forgot about doing all this stuff earlier. It's been a while since I've had to share it like that. Look up the trailers. You can find the Baltius fight on YouTube as well. On then you just look at like all Armored Core 6 Baltius. You can find that. Same thing with Custom S Works announcement trailer. I recommend listening to it. The announcer is very funny. That's why I was having such a good time. You know, if you go back to this video and you look at my face, that's me enjoying the video with audio. It's a completely different experience, I would say. But yeah, those are those. That's mechs. Mechs are cool. I'm here for it. We seem to be in a really nice age of mech games. Look up Armored Core 6 Funny Mechs. You'll see some Squidwards and some other cool stuff. So yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think the building of the characters are quite. It can be quite intimidating. And I always refer to that. Was it Monster? Now I can't think of the game.
Monster
But
Hunter?
also we have Monster Rising of what's I can't remember the game. But we also had like it takes you about an hour just to build the character in the beginning. So
Yeah.
you know, just looking at the little parts that you have to change in color customization, I think it can be quite intimidating, but I think it could be hours of fun where you can literally just sit and build 6 hours.
With Armored Core, I was like, I'm just gonna I'm picking some colors I like. I'm making some sound easy, using some easy presets to make an emblem that I think is cool because I know I will be in the emblem maker or in the color customizer for hours if I let myself, and I just want to play the game.
I'll be an emblem maker for days.
Right? Like you can just do so much cool stuff. I think the biggest thing that ever consumed my time like that was there was a Hot Wheels game. It's like the Hot Wheels Unleashed, I think it was called. It came out a while ago. And I sat there and I was like, oh, I'm making the coolest car. And I spent a long time like making skulls out of like all the different shapes and stuff and adjusting it. And I uploaded it and I was like, job's done. I did it. I made the decal, and so that was fun. That was cool. But yeah, I think you have to also have some like presence of mind to be like, I know myself, and I'm gonna spend hours in this mode. I'm just gonna wait. I think once I do New Game Plus, once I get New Game Plus, I'm gonna go, oh yeah, it's time, and I will like make a little frog or something, and then I'll put it on my Mac and I'll feel good about it, with audio, of course.
The skeleton frog.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because talking about customization takes me back to like Black Ops 2 days.
Yeah, right.
Like, everybody customizing their own emblems and things like that. Man, my camera is really not happy right now.
Where'd he go? How do you do magician's trick?
Never reveal my secrets.
Oh,
but it just takes me back to those days and the fact that like those servers are getting started back up and people are already starting to make TikToks on making new emblems now. And like I remember when I made my emblem, my custom one, it took me probably 3 hours just to make an emblem that like you see for half a second when you load into a game and half a second when you kill somebody.
Yeah, but I know you and I both know that half a second means so much. Like you that it pays for itself.
Oh,
It pays for
absolutely.
itself.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's
Well, all right. Well, mechs are on the way other end of where I'm gonna take us because I don't even think the wheel was invented where I'm taking us.
no wheels.
Oh
Okay.
man, here we go. Okay, so I've recently gotten back into a tabletop game called Settlers of Catan. Basically, the premise of this game is you want to collect resources and you want to build up your settlements and cities. Your goal is to hit a certain amount of victory points, and depending on which, if you're playing the original or any of the expansions, all vary. Um, but basically, you go to this island of Catan. It has, I want to say it's like um, 15 to 20 like board pieces, and it's randomized. You have resources that you collect, which is your rock, or it's ore, wheat, brick, wood, and wool, or we call them sheep because sheep is the picture on there and it's not wool.
Yeah.
Each of those placards gets a number token between 1 and 12. It's a 2 to 4 player game, unless you have the Hawaii expansion, which makes it 5 to 7. And basically, in your turn, you can roll. You have to roll. That's how you gain materials. To start the game, you get to place your settlement on any of the hexes, as long as it is bordering at least 2 hexes. Um, and a road going in a direction. And when you roll your 2 dice, the number that it adds up to, and there's multiple of each number, but if you're, say, sitting on wheat that has a 5 on it and the 2 die equal to 5, you gain a wheat resource. These resources can be used to build roads, settlements, which is your little mini city, and then your bigger city later on when you have to upgrade. It's cool. It's really fun. You get tokens for having the longest road. It's a great tabletop game. I have been playing the original. I just got the Seafarers expansion, which is all pirates and things like that. And then I also just started right before the stream. So I'm actually technically in the middle of a game when I go back. We just started the Cities and Knights expansion, which is also really cool. Adds a whole new development to the game to protect your city from barbarians and things like that. You also get city walls and metropolises and things like that. It adds a whole new development to the game. And then the next one that we're going to buy here pretty shortly is going to be it's Treasures, Dungeons, and Dragons.
That's pretty cool.
It's going to be super bonkers. But yeah, you're basically set in a time of like old like first settlers on this island. And it's really about luck, getting your resources. You can trade between players, so you have kind of like take like Monopoly and Risk and put them together is basically what you get with Catan. And if you haven't seen anything on it, if you don't want to buy the tabletop game and maybe you don't have any friends that live near you, you could play it online. There's an online version that you can load into, and it helps you through all of the steps. It's probably one of my favorite tabletop games right now.
That's awesome. And you mentioned one of your favorite tabletop games. In general, do you feel like you are a avid enjoyer of tabletop games? You feel like Catan is really like pushing you more into that hobby, into that space, or because you find expansions, right? And that's always the first sign of a hobby starting to take hold, right?
I've always been into tabletop games. More or less, I only have a couple of friends that are actually really into them, and especially with a lot of tabletop games now moving digital. You have Monopoly, Uno, Game of Life. Now Catan's on there. You know, you have a lot of games that are moving to that digital realm. So I definitely enjoyed the more of the presence of having the actual board game itself.
Mhm.
It just brings back so many memories from basically childhood. So I definitely will say I am an avid tabletop enjoyer. But it's definitely limited just because I don't always have friends over. But I play the online versions, you know. So definitely enjoy me some tabletop games.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few games that are they're moving online now, or games that are based on things that are usually either like role playing games like Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm thinking of this Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm literally like downloading it. Well, not now while we're streaming, but but, you know, and I always try to think, what's, you know, should I either get it on console or get it on PC? So like basically went for the Steam version of it, and it's, you know, a lot of people have been saying, yeah, just be careful, go check out streams, and you know, maybe you don't enjoy the turn-based games, you know, with the whole movement and the fighting scenes and all that. But you know, just of thinking of playing the games in real life, you know, as a board game, or even just playing D&D with a group of friends, I think it's, you know, as soon as you jump on in like in Discord or something and you're able to play it with other friends, it kind of feels the same way. Then you still have the jokes in between that doesn't really affect your game. Or it feels like, you know, if you're playing with someone and you don't have that communication, you know, you have to type or something, it kind of feels that there's a bit of a disconnect. But I mean, you can get the same experience from the online game as you get from the in real life board games and things. So it's actually cool how many, you know, have moved over to online, so you can actually play games with people across the world. That's quite nice.
Yeah,
100%.
I think it's really cool that, you know, a lot of us are adults, don't live in our hometowns anymore, or if you do, your friends don't live in your hometown anymore. You know, I definitely don't live where I used to be. A lot of my friends still do. So being able to connect just in Discord and still play those games that we used to play as kids is really cool. I still will die on this hill of it will never feel the same as playing the actual tabletop on a tabletop, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing beats that. But it's definitely a nice little I think COVID is a really big thanks to that as well. A lot of games moving to digital. It's really nice to be able to reconnect with friends and relive old memories like that.
Yeah, I was asking earlier, not really grilling you, but I was asking earlier because I am a board game fanatic, right? And I say that because I spend hundreds of dollars on the hobby every year, if not in some cases months, right? Like I have tons and tons and tons of things. It is definitely my most expensive hobby currently.
Agreed.
And with that, right, comes with the territory, right? Especially if you get into the slippery slope of expansions. So I was going to ask you about the Star Trek Catan, which I've heard a lot of people really like. A lot of people's like their
Really
favorite
want it.
version because it adds
Really want
like a different aspect, had hero roles and things like that. And that's the only one that I played personally. I enjoyed it. But also, like, I have two things to say if you're like not really in the board game scene and you're slightly curious. One, Settlers of Catan is an amazing introductory game to the scene, right? I think
absolutely.
it is straightforward enough, but nebulous to where, like, right, you said it's like Risk but Monopoly combined, right? It's like comfortable to where you won't feel like you're doing something foreign, but complex enough to where it'll let you pique your interest in some other things. And then, as Tel was mentioning, I want to recommend to all of you Tabletop Simulator. It's on Steam, $20. You can get access through the Steam Workshop, hundreds and hundreds of different board games online, any point in your own custom lobbies. Last night, I used it myself with some friends. We played Magic the Gathering 4-player Commander on it, and we just got to play that. And like, there's also Spell Table. If you have physical cards for Magic the Gathering, you can play with Spell Table, which is Wizards' own website for streaming that. It requires a camera. since you're using your physical cards. But through the tabletop sim, I don't got to worry about it. I don't have to go out and spend $250 on this list that I'm not even sure if it's going to work. I can just play test it online, play it, have a good time, as well as being able to have access to other things. You can play Dungeons and Dragons through Tabletop Simulator too, right?
Yeah.
You can load maps. It has the miniatures. You can add music. You can do a bunch of things. It is one of my most favorite and versatile tools. Just last night while I was playing, or the other night, I hit like an achievement for having like over 200 hours in the game. Like it's like it popped up, and that's when it hit me. And I was like, wow, I use this a lot, right? I play some of my favorite games on there. I play games that I really don't like at all, and things that aren't even real, right? I don't know if you guys have heard of the board game King of Tokyo. Another great board game. It's about everyone's a monster, and you're trying to beat each other up and be in Tokyo, and you get like victory points, or you win by getting the most points, or like hitting 21 points, or by killing everybody else. And there's like a lot of stuff that happens, right? You roll a bunch of dice, it's luck based, and there's a bunch of different expansions. But I played one of my favorite versions of the game where it was Queen of Harajuku, which is King of Tokyo, except it's reskinned to where all the monsters are monster girls. And it's everyone's like this cute
That's
monster girl. It was so sick.
That's lit.
It was so sick. And I was like, this is all I've ever wanted. I want to be the giant slime princess. And and I got to do that. And like it was possible through tabletop sim, right? I can just like boot up some old stuff, and you have like tons of old things, right? Especially when it comes to card games, right? You can play like Digimon or Yu-Gi-Oh! And you can just load up these databases that you just import lists to, and it makes you decks, and you can try stuff out. And with like you said, COVID and all these things happening, right? I also like playing in person. I like the comfortability of playing my computer a lot because I can like multitask, or I can do some other stuff. Although that does take you away sometimes. Like sometimes I'm more subtractive than additive to the experience. But I'm glad that I can do it at all instead of not being able to do it, right? Because like you said, right, you may not live in your hometown anymore. Like all the people that I played with last night live like over 2 hours away. Sometimes the gap is even larger for some people. So with the modernization of like Discord being adapted into our everyday lives, and digital mediums appearing for physical products and experiences, I think I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be able to do this, right? And Tell mentioned Baldur's Gate 3, and I think thankfully Baldur's Gate 3 is going to bring a lot of people who thought they would never enjoy the idea of Dungeons and Dragons into the hobby.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
The
right?
popularity of D&D is
like Wizards of the
huge
Coast
right now.
is going to be drowning in money, and they're not going to use it in a way that benefits the consumer, which is another thing. But the idea of Dungeons and Dragons for a lot of people might just be an inherent turnoff for them in terms of like interest, right? You had, besides like going as back as like the Satanic Panic way back in like the 70s stuff, there's always been a negative connotation with Dungeons and Dragons, right? So it's nice to see it be more accepted and be more for everyone, because if there's anything, right, I've been championing this message for like years when I was running my club in college. I think board games is a medium that's versatile enough to where there's something for everyone, right? My grandparents who had never really played more than Monopoly and Clue, I showed them some weird alternative board games, and they're like, wow, I want to buy this for myself, right? Like just these little hidden gems that are nothing that you could think would be possible for a board game, or just like very weird and nebulous, and then you end up liking it because you just gave it a shot, right? I had an uncle of mine who had brought a bunch of different things, and I told him this one game, and he's like, that sounds interesting. It's called The Mind. So maybe you guys have heard it. But it's a game where you have cards in your hand, and they're all numbered. And the objective of the game is for you guys to play all your cards in sequential order. So someone has the 1, they play the 1, then the 2, and there's 1 to 100. However, the catch is you can't talk. You have to play these cards in order without talking. And the cards dealt to you random. The first round, everyone has 1 card. But then you have 2. Then you have 3. Then you have 4. Right? And you look and you're like, okay, well, I have a 79 and a 99 in my hand. I'm not playing anything. But then the board is at 45 and no one's moved an inch. And you're like, is 79 really the lowest number? Like, is that really the jump? And sometimes it'll be. right? And sometimes you go, okay, I have 79 and I have 80. And so you play both really fast. And then someone's like, I had 78, right? And you're like, oh, I was so close, right?
That game is like a terror of families.
And he fell in love with it, and he bought it. And then my aunt sent me a picture. She's like, look at what you did. He's playing at home with like my cousin and some of his friends. So like, and it always feels great to me, right? When I can open up the hobby for someone, because there's tons and tons of things. And I think TTRPGs are similar, right? There's people that told me, yeah, I'm not interested in Dungeons and Dragons. I don't, it's not for me. I tried it once. And I'm like, I feel like you should keep trying, because it's like reading, like a good book, right? Like reading is a medium, right? Whether it's comics, whether it's manga, whether it's like actual like fiction or non-fiction novels, there is something for everyone because the medium is so vast and versatile. I think you just have to find what you like, and you do that by trying and like being open to it. So I hope to the day that one day, board games become as commonplace as books, and people don't have to think, oh, I don't know if I like this thing at all. But it's just like, I just got to find the genre or the one that I like, right? Even the person who doesn't like reading at all has a favorite book. They have a favorite story, right, that they enjoy. So, I'm happy that you're having fun with Katana. Let me know if
I can't wait I want to get Starfarer so bad. So bad.
The one about, I knew about the Seafarers one with pirates and stuff. I did not know about the one with the medieval like incorporation. That seems really cool. And that seems cool. I have the base, and I haven't really explored too much of that because I'm spending money on a bunch of other stuff. But right, like,
the base is really good. If you're somebody who wants to get into tabletops, like Rip said, Catan is a really simple but also complex game. It's very simple to play and understand. What gets complex is how to win. You have to. It's a very big strategy game. I love that you brought up Tabletop Simulator. I believe I saw, if it's not already, I believe I saw it was either going VR, it's going to have a VR option, or it already does. You can actually load in with your VR, which is super cool. But yeah, Kruger, actually, that's in chat, is my brother-in-law. And we decided last night while we were bored that he was going to be able to pick our board. And let me tell you, the amount of chaos that came out of that was horrible. I will tell you right now, the game that I'm in the middle of right now, I did not set myself up for success at all. I'm getting about 10 wheat and nothing else every turn.
Gotta make those roads out of wheat, baby. Start laying them down.
The wheat field workers are very hard worked right now and need a day off. It's really fun. It's a game that could keep you entertained for hours, and it always changes. It's never the same. It always changes.
Its replayability is really good, and I feel like if I had some other like really starter recommendations, right? Like some stuff that you could go to your local Target and find. I will admit, I am a bit of with how much money I've spent in the hobby, I'm a slight elitist in terms of like, I'm not going to recommend Throw the Burrito or Cards Against Humanity or anything like that.
I am an average.
Average guy. I'm not going to yuck your yum, right? But I really want you to reach deep and get out of the box. So I'm going to Ticket to Ride is like, I'll concede on Ticket to Ride. Good game, should be fun. Check it out. If you want some other small stuff, check out Love Letter. Cheap, very quick, very fast, great introductory like trick game. Sushi Go Party, right? Just like,
oh wow,
do some interesting stuff. Like go to your local Target if you really have no choice. But I recommend go to a board game shop. Look around,
a tabletop game store.
Go to your local game store. Talk to the employees. Be like, hey, I'm new here. What do you like? And they'll be like, what do you like? Do you like big robots? Do you like cute monster girls? Like, right? Like they'll just ask you a question, and you can be like, I like this, and they can see if they can help you out.
Yep, exactly like Rip said. There is a game for everybody. My very first like actual tabletop game that was besides from Monopoly or anything was Magic Gathering, and that's a card game, and I loved that. I played that for years. I got super invested into it. So there's definitely something for everybody. Yeah,
Heck
I
yeah.
think I'm out.
Yeah,
I,
well, if you
I mean, I could talk about
we
board
could be here
games
for hours. We could be for hours. Yeah, we could be for hours.
So,
I think we can also take the conversation further with joining up on our what's it, Crunch Box. You can join our network if you want to find out more information with regards to board games, or maybe even join the Panda or Ripcard or myself in a game or two. Go check out the www.xpcrunch.network. It's a new network that we've set up that people can interact with us, and started a nice community where we can hang out and talk
don't let
about
me lie to
games.
you. It's
And
not a nice community. We're all rude to each other. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
we're so mean.
So mean. We don't accept anybody. All right, you have to be the know to know. All
Exclusive.
right.
Yeah, so incredibly exclusive. Remember,
It's
3 times
so
value right now.
So exclusive, it's free. All right.
Exactly. Make sure you get in there while it lasts, and let us know what you think. Do you have any board recommendations? Do you have any board game unrecommendations? Or whatever the opposite of recommendation is. I forget the word, but you guys take care. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys again very soon. Bye bye.
Cheers.